What's going on, family? This is your boy John, aka Jaye David, and you are tuned into another episode of the Cavalier Convos Podcast. I have a few of my friends here with me. We got Dwayne in the building. What's good, bro?
Yo, what's good?
And we got Reggie in the building.
Turn up. What up?
God bless everybody in here. Appreciate y'all being on. Appreciate all the listeners out there. Shout y'all out every time. Our podcast listeners, whether it be via Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Appreciate y'all. And yeah, we're going to get right into it. In today's episode, I wanted to kind of discuss the thing in regards to like having, the right people in your life, and surrounding yourself with the right kind of people. Because I think a lot of times, especially as men, especially as black men, I could speak for myself in regards to I didn't have a lot of mentors, black male mentors growing up, aside from like coaches and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But really, there wasn't a lot of men who just really just showed me manhood the right way. And not to say that there weren't any, there were men around, but it just wasn't to the extent of what, especially a black young man needs in this society. So I think it's important, especially as we get older as men, to make sure we extend the olive branch in regards to showing our young men or young men a better way, or a road that's not as turbulent. For example, I watched I don't know if y'all watched it, but I watched the Jeezy and
I missed
Gucci Man versus.
I saw a piece of it, but I ain't see all of it.
I watched all of it, and I watched Jeezy's interview after it, and just his idea. And whoever people think won or lost or whatever, that ain't really
irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. But just his whole you could tell the maturity in him at this stage in his life, and even I've seen it in Gucci Man in regards to his maturity. He's still, and I get certain things in regards to that, his feelings towards the situation between him and Jeezy, but at the same time, I can respect the fact that these brothers came a long way. And you can tell, some of the, for example, some of the things that of our other artists from the past were not able to rectify or fix in their time being here, particularly a Tupac and Biggie, just being able to not necessarily patch things up, but at least close that chapter and mature and be able to impart wisdom on the next generation. So, yeah, I guess we could speak to the fact that, what is the importance of just having the right people around you, and you know what I mean?
I think it goes back to the desire, right, on both sides, right, to reach back if you're somebody that's older, more mature, have more wisdom, been through a few more things, however you want to phrase that. You got to be willing to reach back. But I think the most important aspect of it is we got to get to a point to where those that are not in that position, right, the ones that are on the opposite side of that, the ones that you're reaching back to, or the ones that you're imparting wisdom upon, or the ones that you're giving information to. And I'm using a bunch of different phrases because it's given and received in so many different ways that I'm trying to make sure I touch on all the ways that the message can be delivered. We have to create a mentality, a consistent mentality of wanting that reach back to come and being willing to listen. I've always said this. You don't have to agree with every piece of information that someone reaches back to give you, but you can understand it. And what that means is not that you're going to do it. It just means that you're willing to listen to the information, process it, get out of it what can be received from it. It doesn't mean you're going to go and do what said person told you to do, but it gives you a sense and it allows you to process the information to where you can use it, maybe not in that moment, but later down the line. And I think those are the two main pieces of it. Being willing to reach back and most importantly, being willing to receive what's being reached back, if you will, and sent back towards you.
I agree. I look at it like you got to pay attention to a lot of different things. A lot of guys teaching a lot of things that's their way. Don't mean that's the right way. Are they giving advice to people that's not always accurate? Or are they trying to give advice the way they did things? Don't mean it's worked for everybody. I look at it, people, a lot of young men, black young men, they see the way rappers or artists flogging this and flogging that, doing all kinds of things like, oh, I'm going to be just like them. But the thing is, they don't see the background work, the hard struggle they had to go through to get to where they are now. Like you say, we have seen verses on a couple of Instagrams and everything, but people don't realize that a lot of these people had to work hard to get to where they are. So they listen. Some of them, I feel like they do have a platform they could talk, but that's not the everyday people. We got everyday men, the blue collar workers that give out advice that a lot of black men don't want to listen to because they feel like they are not important enough. They feel like they're not, they not rich enough. I'm rich. If I got a place to stay, I got a house, or you got a car, if you own something, like I look at it like this. If you have a black man that has a house, that's an investment. So for somebody not to listen to something he has to say or how he got to the point he got to, I would say it's stupid, because you have to listen to what they're saying, because look, you're not going to be that certain person that's on TV. Everybody not going to make it to the NBA. Not everybody not going to make it to the NFL. Everybody not going to be a rapper or artist or everybody's not going to be that. You got 100-some thousand other people that's trying to do the same exact thing. So when you have a guy that's average Joe, I always say blue collar workers, the ones that's not making millions of dollars, the ones that have to work up the ladder at their job and things like that, but they give you advice that you don't want to listen to. And that's the thing we losing, where a lot of guys losing their wisdom, because they don't want to listen to the person that's right there, that they see on a regular basis, on an everyday basis. Yeah. They don't want to see, like we say, Boys and Girls Club back at home. They don't want to look at that person that's running the Boys and Girls Club. Oh, he run the Boys and Girls Club. He ain't going nowhere. No. He has done a lot. One, he gave you a place to go to get away from the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So pay attention to what he's telling you, because he's letting you know, I done been down this road, so I'm trying to do something better for you. So I feel like a lot of young men don't pay attention to what's going on in front of them. The people that's right there in front of them are, like you say, John, you have a lot of coaches. You don't have people that's been mentored to you. But a lot of these guys, they look at the coaches like he ain't making no money, but they don't realize he's rich in life.
Yeah, I think all that's accurate. And let me add this to it, right? Is like, I think people lose track of this. You can have whatever aspiration you have. That doesn't mean you can't accumulate information on the way. You can look at anybody that's quote unquote made it, right? All these famous people. Yep. At some point, as they were ascending, and I hate to use the word ascending because that doesn't mean they're above anybody else. But at some point, as they made their way to where they are now, their journey, they received information from other people. That doesn't mean they went exactly that route. You can, if you want to be an actor, that does not mean an accountant can't give you some life information.
True.
Can't give you some life advice. I think the problem is sometimes people get so caught up in what someone does.
Yeah, I agree.
As opposed to how they got there, what they've been through, the hurdles, obstacles, all of those things that they had to push past. Add to that, being a black man in America, right? Because you can talk about a lot of things.
True.
But there's one thing that you can never, right? Like in a lot of people's lives, there are certain things that they don't have to disclose. They don't have to disclose, how they grew up. They don't have to disclose what money is in the bank. They don't have to disclose what terrible job they took to start their career. But guess what? When they walk outside the door every day, they're still a black man in America, and that ain't going to change. And you cannot hide that. And so to me, anytime you've got a resource like that, if you're someone that has, quote unquote, little less years on this earth or less wisdom or less knowledge or however you want to phrase it, anybody that has a little bit more that looks like you might want to get something out of that conversation. Like I always say this, my uncle once told me, the worst thing that you can get out of a conversation, or no, the only thing that's bad about a conversation is that you might learn something you didn't already know. AKA, you're going to realize you was a little bit ignorant to what the subject of that conversation was. And that's not a bad thing. Yeah. If you take it the wrong way, as, some people use the term or take the term being ignorant to something as a negative. It's not. It just means you did not know. It just means that there is a lack of understanding or knowledge on your part because it's not something maybe that you approached before from a mental standpoint. But at the end of the day, if somebody can help you minimize a level of ignorance to a particular subject, you should take that information in, process it. If you need to look it up and verify it, do that too, and then use that information to your advantage and apply it to yourself down the line.
On top of that, we all play sports. We don't run across some terrible coaches. We ran across some great coaches. I always tell kids, young men, especially black men, and even when I was in the military, you're going to run across leadership, mentors that's going to be great. Then you're going to run across some that's not great at all. But the thing is, you could take what you learn from that person that's doing the right thing, make yours better. And you could take what you learn from the bad person and learn not to do it that way.
That's exactly right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to learn how to flip. You got to try to teach these young men how to flip things.
Filter the information.
Yeah. So if they are a great teacher, mentor, however, you want to figure out how can I make myself better than them?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a competition, but you got to take what you learn from them. Then I'm like, okay, now I see what they doing. I'm trying to get better than them because I want to be just like that person, but I want to be better.
You got to have that daily growth.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, so I look at it, we had to teach young men how to take things and flip it. Bad situation, like you could see some prime athletes that have made it to the league. They took their situation they was in, living in a car, homeless, with their mom or dad or however. They took that bad situation, they use that as fuel and flip it. Yeah. Now, guess what? Mom got a house, dad got a house. You know what I'm saying? They living good, you know what I'm saying? But they not spending money like they splurging, but they like, hey, I took something and flip it. I used that as fuel. So we got to teach our young men to do the same exact thing. When we talking to them, take something and you got to learn how to flip it, make it better.
So I guess this is for me something in regards to just my own personal life. I remember like in the time of my life where I was very dysfunctional. Where I was very had like toxic traits and things like that, and I realized like at that time in my life I had the most friends, like the most people liked me when I was at my worst, and the reason why is because most people are operating in a state of low vibration or a state of just toxic.
They feeding off of your bad vibes. A lot of
people
make themselves better.
Well, and they can. When you're in a state of loss like that, they can mold you into whatever they want you
and
to
you don't
be.
feel so bad about your life if you see somebody else who's just as far gone. Yeah. So I had a lot of friends. Everybody wanted to hang out with me. The minute I started like getting my mind right and getting my life together and getting my mental health and things like that together, I didn't have as many friends. I didn't have as many people rushing to hang out with me, which goes back into what we're saying is like, the kind of people you surround yourself, like experience always doesn't have to be the best teacher. Somebody else's experience could be a teacher for you. Yep. And I think a lot of times, like, especially for men in our community, like we just let young boys just do whatever and figure it out. And I think in a society and in a world that is against you because of your color, because of the color of your skin and the fact that you're a man, you can't just allow black boys to just run amok and just figure it out. There has to be some level of guidance there. There has to be some level of discipline, some type of and people are going to not like this word, patriarchal order. Patriarchy is not a bad thing. Matriarchy is not a bad thing. It shouldn't be a thing that threatens. Matriarchy shouldn't be a thing that threatens men, and patriarchy shouldn't be a thing that threatens women. But there should be certain things in place in regards to a community when it comes to, like, you don't have to, like, just be out here fending on your own, figuring it out on your own as a man.
I'm gonna tell you why, and I if I'm cutting you off, I apologize, but I want people to understand this. What you just described, that pecking order, that patriarchy, that hierarchy, however you want to phrase it, the interesting thing is, it is often understood in a negative way.
It shouldn't be.
And what I mean by that is, anytime they're right, like we've heard of the term corporate structure or corporate hierarchy, right? We've all seen it. We us in here have jobs, and we have worked for people, and you know who your boss is and who their boss is and who's you're responsible for, all of those things. The funny thing is, oftentimes in our neighborhoods that are struggling, it is the same thing. There's such and such, the quote OG or big homie or however you want to phrase it, he's at the top. And he got lieutenants, and like you have, it's the same. So what I'm saying to that is, what we have to do a better job of helping young men understand is, you're already a part of a structure that you say is not something you want to be a part of, or that you're pushing back against because you feel like you're quote unquote confined. Well, guess what? When you join that crew, group, gang, whatever the
team,
concept is, team,
business,
you're doing the same
There's
thing.
order and structure
There's
to everything.
order and structure to everything. So my point is, why not find the order and structure in the thing that helps you grow and gain what you need to do, so you can, to my point, go to sleep at night without one eye open.
This is the thing that I try to explain to people when we talk about, like, the black community, is that there is literally order and structure to everything in life. Your body functions in a particular way. Like, everything about nature, about everything, there's order to everything. There should be order in a community, because how does the community sustain itself and feed itself? There has to be a certain cycle. Correct. Or a certain pattern. So, like, when it comes to teaching men how to be men, there's nothing wrong with teaching men how to be men. There's nothing wrong with, hey, this is what is expected of you as a man. And anything outside of this is you're falling short. It can't be just like, all right, just do what you want, and, we'll accept you the way you are, because, like, no successful community operates like that. None. There's not one on the planet that operates. No successful one. You know what I mean? So I think the thing is important, like, who you surround yourself with, who you surround yourself with your kids too, as well as parents. These are certain things we got to think about. Because there was a point where we cared about that stuff. But I think now, just because of the way society is kind of, I don't know, people want to use progressed. I don't believe it's progressed. I believe it's regressed. We've allowed a looseness or a lack of, like we said last episode, in regards to the mediocrity,
lack of accountability
that we have, is just like, no, we have to face this and be honest with ourselves. Like, yeah, there's a lot of things that this society has put in our way to put us down and to oppress us and to make things very, very difficult for our people. But at the same time, like, there is strength in numbers, and there is strength in a communal aspect of people just understanding what the common goal is and everybody working together for that common goal. I think, Dwayne, you want to say something? You look like you want to say something.
No, I'm good. One, like you say, teaching a man to be a man. Now, everybody teaching a man their own way. Don't mean.
That's right. Yeah, because that's the thing too. People like, I got to teach them my way. No. There is a right way and a wrong way to do everything.
Yeah, that's one thing we got to make sure when it comes to the community wise. Make sure we're doing the right thing. I
don't want to cut you off, but that's a good thing, right? Like, we should talk about that. What should we be teaching young men?
Get a job.
Accountability, man. I think listen. And you're right. First of all, you're 100% right.
I can run with this, boy.
Absolutely. But I'm going to let you run with that. But that's what I'm talking about. whether it's a job, taking care of your response, all of it comes back to accountability. Be accountable for the things that you create, make, and need to be responsible for. That, to me, that is the beginning of all of it. If like my dad told me years ago, if you ain't ready to take care of one, don't make one.
Mm-hmm. It is so true.
That's what it comes down to. If you're not ready to, and it comes with anything, if you're not ready to face the consequences of a crime, don't commit it. If you're not ready to face the responsibility that comes with having a job and taking your ass to bed at night so you can get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be at work on time, then you need to reevaluate a whole lot of shit in your life. So what it comes down to, again, is that accountability. Are you willing to do the things that it takes to grow every day and make yourself a better person, which eventually leads to being a better man, as we talk about black men in this conversation. Yeah. And that goes for black women too. Are you willing to take like those steps every day to get better every day, to be accountable for your actions?
Yeah, so I was just writing some down that y'all was going on. So things that, and this is just off the top of my head, I didn't even plan or pre-plan this, but things that black men should be taught, right? Accountability, we just went over that. You must have a skill. You must have a trait. You must have a trait. You must have something that you can do that you don't need anybody to call you up for a job interview to be able to make money off of. So whether that be carpentry, whether that be...
You saying like a skill.
Like a actual skill. Like something...
Now, if you don't have it, you got to be willing to learn it.
You got to be willing to learn it. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I'm about to say, some guys don't have certain skill traits. Now,
no, sir, not everyone, but
you got to find something that you love to do that you're going to sacrifice for.
Or
if you
willing to do.
Or willing to do, because everybody is...
But that goes back to... Yeah.
Everybody can't work outside. Everybody they just can't do it. Some guys don't mind.
But there's things like, and it's not exclusive to electrician and carpentry, IT, cybersecurity, engineering. There's a lot of skilled work that you can do. You know what I'm saying? Graphic design.
Well, that's why I tell people all the time, because I had a young black man one time say he wants to be a hacker. I said, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Why don't you just become an IT architect? If you're smart enough and you want to take the time to hack, which is probably going to get your ass locked up, how about you just go work for somebody, do IT?
But you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's my point.
If that's something you want to learn, then go find a job that's going to benefit.
There's a positive way to do it all.
Truck driving, barber. There's a bunch of stuff out there.
I look at it like this.
There's a lot of options.
It could be anything. If it's in the coaching or whatever it is.
It's just something that to where you can make money on your own. You don't need anybody. Basically, you don't need any overseer to write a check for you, or you can sell that skill. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but if that's the way you want to go and you feel happy about that, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I get what you're saying. You should have something else, like say this don't work at this job. You got something to fall back on.
You should have a skill.
Yeah,
my thing. You should have a skill.
I get what you're saying.
Because a lot of men, a lot of people in general are working at jobs they don't like. So if you're gonna work at a job that you don't like, you might as well find some skill work to where you know that you're gonna get paid real money. And that's the thing that they took out of a lot of the schools, especially in the urban communities. They used to have They used to have a lot of that.
I could take in South Carolina. They have bought that back. They got barber schools in the school.
They should, yeah.
They have auto.
Because if you
they have bought some of that back to some of the schools in South Carolina, and that's what they should do.
Some people are working at jobs they completely hate. So you might as well get a job that if you're gonna hate it, get paid, brother. Like
at least get a taste of it. Because I know we had wood shop and everything. If you don't like that, at least you know this is not
what I want to do.
What I want to do. So now you got a chance of at least getting a taste of it.
It's about exposure, right? It's about the opportunity to see things and understand if you like it or don't. I tell everybody this right now. I went to college, played football, all of that. But the one thing I always remind people, I would never tell anybody not to go get a degree. Get as much education as you can.
Yeah.
But I also remind them of this. There are a lot of people that have degrees in shit that they're not doing. Because that all a degree means is I can teach you how to do something the way that my company wants it done. It doesn't mean that you can't do this or you can't do, because you just went to school for XYZ amount of years to be taught how to do something.
It might not be what you want to do at the end of the day.
That doesn't mean you're going to do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean
I went to college with a guy who look, he knew, he was from New York. He knew he had a job in IT the day he graduated college. His major was history. And his point was, but because
I'm trying to get out of here as fast as I can.
Well, because the owner told him, I got a job for you, but you got to have a degree. Because I can't grow you, turn you into a manager if you're not willing to get educated. I need you to prove to me that you're willing to learn,
do something,
so
and
that
stick
I
to
can
it,
teach you even more.
Yeah.
When you get here. Now that dude he's doing great. And I'm not going to say his name, but if he ever hears this, he's going to laugh because we took a history class together. And I asked him one time, I was like, how's your major in history, bro? What you going to do with that? He goes, bro, history never changes. This is the easy major. My point being, he understood that there was an accountability to get himself educated so that he could be able to grow in a different field. But my point in saying all that is I tell everybody.
I got a question though.
Learn. All a degree means is you can be taught how to do something.
So he already knew he already knew the ins and out of IT though.
He was working there.
He was skilled.
He had started working.
He had the skill to be able to
Well,
but he needed something on paper to show
he needed something on paper that he should be.
But getting back to your point, to add to that, he started developing the skill at 15 years old.
Exactly.
He because that guy said, listen, you want to be a knucklehead on this corner or do you want me to learn you up? And he said, I want you to learn me up. And he was willing to walk away from being the kid on the block. And meanwhile, this dude's like 6'5" and never even looked at a basketball or football because he understood I don't have to have that to be what I want to be. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and I'm saying that on purpose. And now he's doing great. He's, and look, I'm not going to sit there and say I know what all his finances look like, but my point is he understood that there was somebody else in the neighborhood
but
that
there's
could
a
show him a path that
to
he was
success,
willing to listen
and that
to.
goes back to what we were saying.
Yeah, that's basically what we were talking about.
Somebody took the time to teach him and say, "Hey, brother, like, yo, get
and he
this."
was willing to listen.
Yeah, man.
So basically, when, like you say, a lot of people I know that got degrees, they did not working in their field at all. That's a truth.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Like you say, but a lot of them do have nice jobs because due to the fact they have the degree. Like you say, I would never tell nobody to go to college. I would never tell nobody to go to the military because guess what? With military, they get a lot of just experience.
Yeah.
Because they looking like, okay, you might have some type of discipline. So you willing to get up at 5 something in the morning or whatever, go do PT.
You're willing to make commitments.
You're willing to make commitments. So they look at it like, hey, this person is willing to make a commitment. So I would hire them because due to the fact I see their background, they may have degree or they may have military background. So they have some type of commitment. So I like, hey, they willing to learn. They willing to do certain things to get where they need to get to.
Absolutely.
So that's why I see why a lot of people, they say, oh, you got military background, you can get hired. They look at that saying, okay, he sacrificed, he's willing to learn, he made a commitment. We showing that, hey, if he's willing to get up at 5 something in the morning, he's willing to come to work at 8 something. Who wouldn't? That's a big difference. That's 3 hour difference. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they look at that, like I say, it's a commitment. So you're willing to learn. So you could take that. And I always tell young men, I say, hey, if you're not willing to go to college, and I know you want to get a job, go to trade school, have you. I say, it's no wrong with going to the military. Do the minimum, get out, and get a job.
Because you're going to come out of there with a skill.
Because you might go into communications in the military, and guess what? You learn something in communication already. You already got certification that when you get out in the real world, that they ain't got to worry about paying for.
I think the thing is, in regards to all that, like, I don't tell people to go to college or not to go to college. I don't tell people to go to the military, not go to the military, do this or do that. I say these are your options, and this is the reality.
Yep.
That's the biggest problem because
you need something.
telling a kid to go to college and not explaining the reality of the situation if you go to college. You go to college, you take out those student loans. Understand, you going to college doesn't guarantee you employment. No. It doesn't guarantee you a nice paying job. It doesn't do anything but guarantee that you have shown that you have been able to get through.
If you get through.
If you get the educational system in America, that doesn't guarantee you anything. And especially we know that for black college graduate, this is not a made up thing. This is documented information that white non-college graduates out earn black college graduates. That is not fake. It's not on average. Obviously, there's exceptions, but on average, there is, so you got to understand the reality situation. So you got to be prepared and go into the right fields. You got to tell people like, yo, you may like this, you may like that. Do you need a bachelor's degree to do that? Do you need a bachelor's degree to produce music? No. You need to go and you get in your closet and go get you Fruity Loops or GarageBand and start playing with making beats out of there and go get you a real degree. And at the same time, you can learn how to be a producer.
But you could take like a business degree and use that so you know how to do management.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Financial literacy.
Yeah. It's not saying, like you say, it's not saying, okay, I want to be an artist, I can't go to college. Yes, you can go to college. All you're doing is going to college. Now you take that
learn the business
degree or whatever, marketing, promotion, whatever. Yep. You learn the back door. So now guess what? You could still do your make your music, but now you kind of know some of the background of the business.
So you don't get taken advantage of.
Yeah, So like you said, a lot of things I know with blacks, we don't take advantage of a lot of the internships because they are non-paid. We look at a lot of things like that. We like, I don't want to do no intern because it's because I know some of them situations not like everybody else.
No, I think a part of it is the reason why. If there was more, and I get it, but because there's not a lot of black-owned things in their field, like you're gonna go to a company, majority white-owned company, right? And you're gonna be around a bunch of white people, right? And that comfortability, it's facts. Like so like
I speak a little different because I went to a black college, so it might be a little different.
But in a lot of cases, it's most likely your internship is going to be at a white company with a majority white people. And if you you got to.
But I'm not going to say you're wrong with that.
It's John, not. I'm not saying, but it's the facts. It's the real. Like if you're a black
and I got no problem with that fact. Guess what? That's probably going to be the case when you get out of college too.
But the thing is that for me, it's like But the reality, and what I'm trying to get back to saying is that, like, you as a black young man have to understand how to navigate. And
yes,
if you
take advantage of the opportunity,
and if you can navigate correctly and understand like the end goal for every black male is to control their own money, to be in control of their own destiny, be able to write their own ship and be in control of where they're going in life financially, socio-economically.
Yep.
Because that's freedom.
Yes.
You should want to be free. So the reason, because like a lot of black people are working in companies and jobs in different fields that they absolutely detest the situation. So if you're going to be in a situation like that, learn as much as you can. Get the knowledge that you need. Get the information that you need so you can, in turn, be the boss or be in control or be able to write your own way and be free.
Yes, and that's the point I was getting ready to make, and I'm glad you made that point. You don't have to come out of school and go be the black business owner right away. I'm not saying you can't. What you can do, if you so choose, is to go work for whatever the guy's name is that doesn't look like you, and learn there, and then 3 years later go to another company that's similar and learn there while stacking your money. And after 6 years of working for those two individuals, now you have the money, the knowledge, the wherewithal, and who you want to bring in on your team to start your business. You are in a better place than if you went out there blind. I'm not saying going out there blind, doing it on your own day one is bad.
No.
What I'm saying is you can work either plan.
And that's the thing. What I'm saying in regards to like surrounding yourself with
The
certain
right people.
because like I was saying before, like for me, man, I had certain people around me, but they weren't helping me get to where I needed to be. They were stunning my growth to a point to where they weren't a reflection of the kind of person I was. I was becoming a reflection of the kind of people they were. And, you know, for me, it's just like, it's very important, like, who you bring around your circle, who you just associate with on a day-to-day, because even just conversation alone that you have with people, it's a programming. If all the conversations you have with a person are just about, you know, silly stuff, and it's always about like fun and games, and it's never anything serious that's ever being discussed or communicated, it does affect your life. It affects how you view life. Because if you're always in a joking and silly mood, everything in life is a joke. Everything in life is silly. Nothing is ever serious, and then you end up being stagnant or regressing. You know what I mean?
Say that one more time. Or what?
Or you regress. You move back forward. Like you don't move forward. You move backwards. So like in regards to the kind of people you have around you, like you should want to have people who are more successful than you around you.
What's the old phrase? If you're the smartest person in the room, you need to lead a room.
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to. Like I said, like you should be able to, and then you know,
There's some real to that.
And I always like look at my life in regards to like sequences in regards to the kind of people I had around me, and when I was, you know, at my highs and when I was at my lows. Like when I was younger, like I hung around a lot of older people, so I was a lot more mature. And then moving in a lot higher trajectory than a lot of other people in my age group when I was younger, because I had older people doing things.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then, you know, there's certain parts of my life where I hung around people who were not, you know, trying to really, you know, people who were just in that state of just comfortability, you know, just like, all right, I'm cool with just getting by and, you know, take it and living life, you know, in the moment and not thinking about forward movement or forward progress. And I noticed in my life, things were stagnant. I wasn't happy. I wasn't being the man that I know or I knew that I should be. So it's all about like if most people would go back and like really analyze their past and look at the kind of people that were around them, it's usually that it's a complete reflection in regards to the life that they were living at that time. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's just like, at this point, it's like, yeah, I need to keep meeting people who are doing well. Like, I need to keep meeting people who are excelling in whatever they're trying to do, because that's going to rub off on you. The conversations, the kind of things that you're talking about, it's going to spark something in your mind. And go ahead,
I think, you know, and I think that's why I always say, you know, complacency is the most dangerous damn thing on this earth. And the reason why I say that is because the minute as a person you get comfortable in everything that you are, have, and will do, that means you stop growing. You have accepted where you are, and you're not even looking to improve yourself.
It's a dangerous place
and
to be.
That's why I said complacency is the most dangerous damn thing on this earth.
We done talked about that in another episode.
Absolutely. You can't be You
in this world,
continued
right now,
growth, man, is so
get your
important.
wig split out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? The world will take you out,
destroy you in a minute, in a New York minute at that.
I mean, and I tell people about this whole COVID thing and this whole like pandemic thing. Like, literally, like at any time, you should never be so comfortable to where you believe that you're just in a good space and your life can't be flipped upside down.
It don't take but a millisecond.
Out of your control. Completely stuff that's out of your control. You know, you try to prepare and try to be smart and make smart decisions, and you try to maneuver a particular way to make sure that you got, you know, yourself covered. But even when you do all that, there's still going to be something out of your control.
Another piece of advice, not to cut you off, D. Luke, that I would give young people or anybody really, is don't be afraid when you're around your quote unquote friends. Find out what the next goal in their life is. Not the ultimate, but just find out what the next one is. Because I'm going to tell you right now, damn it, if they don't know, you might want to quit hanging out with them.
And I've changed my thoughts on ultimate goal.
But that's what I said. It don't have to be the ultimate. I just want to know your next one.
But when we was talking about when being younger, your crowd you hang around, that crowd, I want to say the in crowd. We weren't thinking about what's your next goal, what you plan on. We just having fun, thinking about, hey, right now. We wasn't thinking about a lot of us. I ain't gonna say all of us, because you got some people that was in that group was already thinking ahead, even though you didn't know. Like you say, if you ask one of your friends, like, what is your goal? What is your plans for
what you want to do next year?
Yeah, what is your plan?
If you're a senior in high school,
what is your plans for what's your 5-year plan? What's the next 5 years? Where you see yourself next 5 years?
If you're a senior in high school and you got a friend that's a senior in high school and their answer
they don't know what they want to do,
graduation is, I don't know.
They don't have that.
There's an issue.
Yeah.
There's an issue. So
you don't have not one plan, no clue, not college, not military, not just going to trade school, you just don't know. And that's the issue, but that's what young people, they I would say, we always young. You don't want to ask that to your friends because you feel like you don't want to.
Well, they're going to look at you like the nerd in the room.
Yeah,
like,
you're like,
asking me that?
Yeah, oh, you nerd now.
What are you worried about that for?
But now that we're older, we realize, like, man, shoot. A lot of my classmates, but I can tell you this, a lot of my classmates from high school, a lot of us that hung in a crew, a lot of them, they have fun, they had a good time. I knew that a lot of them was going to college. And guess what? I got like 10 doctors out of my class. 10 doctors.
I believe it.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about like they went and got their PhD because they just want to keep getting. No, they are actual doctors in the hospital and things like that, medical field. You know what I'm saying? Everybody like, man, y'all had a class that was smart. I say, yeah. All of them had a plan. Even though we may have senior skip day, everybody had fun, or we did a lot of other things, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But a lot of them had a plan. They already knew, I'm going to college. This is what I'm majoring in. This is what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? They knew the goal. So I could sit back and ask them, like, what is your goal? They already do. Some will say, I'm going to pledge alpha. I'm going to pledge Q. And guess what? A lot of them did exactly what they say they was going to do.
Because you know why? You can always live on the way to where you're going.
Yeah, it's not a thing. And we're not saying people can't live life.
Yeah, they don't stop living life.
Just because you're
got to be focused on what your goal is.
You have to be focused on the goal.
You living your life and enjoying yourself should not be at a detriment to you achieving your goals.
No, but it is going to take sacrifice.
That's when it's not fun no more.
You're going to have to make some sacrifices.
When you start having fun as a priority over you achieving your goals, it's not fun no more. You're being a dumbass.
But this is what I tell black men.
Can't argue that.
When you make a sacrifice on something, they'll let you know what kind of friends you have. When you start sacrificing, say, for instance, they say, hey, we're going out. Like, man, I can't go because I got this to do. You can find out who really your friends, because some of your friends like, man, bump that. Now, some are joking. Then some are real. Mm-hmm. But the ones like, hey, man, I understand. You got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that's going, they understand like, hey, he's on a mission.
And oftentimes you're not going to reap the benefit of that sacrifice in that moment.
You're not.
You just got to wait.
It's for down the line.
It'll come back.
Because we live in a society where if it's not right in front of you, more so now than any other time in history.
Instant gratification.
Yeah, if it's not something that you can actually get right this second, that's why people have so much freaking credit card debt. True. That's like to me that's like the biggest example. Not because of
especially you're a college student.
Yeah,
get the credit cards in the mail.
It's not.
That's why shit like Amazon Prime is the most dangerous, detrimental thing. People are like, but I can get it right away. That's your problem.
That's the problem.
I tell people all the time. If you, I'm gonna ask for the people listening to us right now. If you have to buy something, I'm gonna just throw a number out there. It's $1,000. Are you going to buy it if you got time to think about it? No. What about if you got no time to think about it? You got to buy it on the spot or not?
They gonna buy it.
Chances are you're gonna buy it on the spot. If you got time to think about it, you're probably not gonna buy it.
You're gonna change your mind. You like, you know what?
There
It's not worth it.
But we have started to build this. I want it right now. The impulse. Listen, one of the main things about any organization, and I say organizational purpose, that provides a good or a service. That means a store, a restaurant, all of that. They are preying on your impulse buying.
Yeah.
That's why when you start talking, they're like, this is the special for $35. And it's a damn hot dog that cost them $7 to make.
It's the special for $35.
Right. The reason why is because your impulse, I want the special.
Marketing.
And they just got you.
Like we was talking about sacrifice, prime example, something personal in my life. I had a son at 18 years old, senior year in high school. I had a supporting cast, my mother and them, yes, they was very important, but I still had responsibilities. So with me having responsibilities, like when you go to college, I went off to college, I went to get my degree, but at the same time, when them free time you've away from college, you like, hey, everybody going here, going there. Guess where I was at?
At the crib, being a daddy.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, man.
you had to make sacrifices. I missed out on certain things. I still was able to enjoy myself during college, but I missed out on some things because due to the fact Christmas break, everybody was like going here for it first and then they going home. No, I was at home. Or spring break, everybody like, oh, spring break, we going down to Florida or we going here and there. Guess what? I was able to go somewhere because due to my folks was able to like, okay, you could go, but guess what? Before you go back to school, you gotta come home. You got a son. You gotta see. So even I had to make sacrifices. So even when he finally stayed with me and I was a single father, I had to make sacrifices. So it's the same thing. Everybody got to make sacrifices. But guess what? Does it benefit you right then and there? No, it may not benefit you right then and there. It's gonna benefit you in the long run. One, I can say my son graduated from high school. He's out doing his own thing. He don't have no kids at 25, getting ready to turn 25 years old right now. And he's working. That's what he wanted to do. He's taking care of his own bills without saying, Dad, I need this, I need that. He learned that, hey, when you start paying these bills, you got to make sacrifices. You start working, you got bills to pay. You got to make sacrifices. So when they see certain things, that's like we say, mentors. When young men see certain things, they realize they got to make sacrifices. They realize like, hey, I can't do this like I wanted to. I got my own place now. Yeah, everybody else going out, but hey, I'm not making that much money right now. I got to make sacrifices. So everybody got to make some type of sacrifice. It don't matter if it's with your kids, with your job, or education, or anything. Especially black men, we have to make some type of sacrifice regardless to get to where we want to go or where we want to go or where we need to be.
Yeah, my thing is, and I want to kind of get back to talking about like what I have here in regards to what black men what young black men should be taught. And like I said, accountability, they should learn a skill. They should have something that, they should have a skill, right? I don't think I need to go in deep into that. They need to learn how to be competitive. Like, and we talked about that last episode, but like you have to be competitive because we live in a competitive society. If you are not competitive, you are going to get your head taken off because the world doesn't care about your excuses. They don't. We get and I talk about racism a lot. I talk about white supremacy a lot. I talk about it in its proper context because it needs to be talked about so you know what you're up against. How can you fight something that you don't know what it is? So that's why it's about arming yourself. So you got to be competitive. As a black male, you must be competitive. And too many black males are being taught not to compete.
Basically, you tell them they need to be resilient.
Yeah.
You got to be resilient. As a black man, you got to be resilient.
Because you're going to have to fight, bro. Like, this is not a game.
You're going to fall, and then you're going to stand. You got to be able to stand back up. Everybody falls. Nobody has never, I don't care who they are, has never said they never failed before. Everybody done failed on, it don't matter if it's a test in life or whatever. You don't fail somewhere in a marriage, in a relationship.
When you lose a loved one.
Everybody don't fall before.
That's a loss. Like you gotta life is comprised of wins and losses. That's what life is. Life is comprised of wins and losses. You're going to lose certain things. You're going to lose certain aspects of your life. You're going to fail. And then certain parts are going to be times where you win, where you gain.
I guess that's one thing.
Do your wins outweigh your losses?
But you know what? I think that's one thing with black men. You gotta teach black men how to understand by taking a loss is not the end of the world.
No, it's not.
You know, some black men don't know how to take a loss, especially if they never experienced it before. So it's not
if they experience too many.
That too. They don't know how to get
a bunch of losses. You just get to the point where you're just so used to losing.
Or if they've never been taught how to process
the
loss. Because I think that's a bigger thing, right? Like, we know that everybody's going to take a L every now and then. That's just life. But are you able to look at it and learn from it? Are you able to look at it and process the information? Are you able to go through it and come out on the other side of that piece of adversity and be stronger for it? That, to me, I think is a major issue, particularly in the black community.
And I strongly agree with that, because we have to teach young men, especially I have young men that actually help coach plenty of times. Some of them threw their life away due to stupid things, you know. But now they coming back and telling young men, look, I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. I lost everything because I felt like I want to do this and do it my way.
On an impulse.
When I lost everything, I lost scholarship. No college wanted me no more. No college thought about, I couldn't even get into the JUCO because they felt like, oh, you a troublemaker. You know, so I had to tell them, these young men, they looking like, for real, what did he do? Then the young man, he had to come and tell him, he said, this is what happened. This is what I did. So y'all thinking it's cool to do all these things on the website and thinking everything comes back to bite you. The thing is, you got to teach young black men that, hey, I took a L. I threw a lot of things away. I took a big L. I lost scholarships and everything, but guess what? I'm still here. I done climbed back. I'm not playing ball. I ended up getting my degree. I did this, I did that. Now I'm working. I didn't let that take me away. But he teaching young men, telling them like, hey, that's part of being resilient. You're going to take some L's. You're going to make some choices that's not going to be correct, because you got to learn from your choices. But the problem is, are you going to learn from that choice and move forward? Or are you going to learn from that? You're not going to learn from that choice and do it all over again.
Don't let one mistake turn into 10 mistakes.
Same mistake. Well, look, don't let one mistake turn into 10 mistakes of the same thing.
Yeah, because that's insanity.
Or getting caught up in that one mistake, and it creates additional mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what happens too. You know, you just turns into a snowball, because like the unwillingness. First, you got to accept defeat, right? If you don't accept defeat, you're never going to change your approach. So that's when how one mistake turns into 10, because you haven't even accepted your first defeat. You haven't accepted your first fall. You know what I mean?
Because you don't want to look in the damn mirror. Look in the mirror.
Look at yourself.
Self-evaluate, self-scout. Whatever phrase you want to use, it starts with self.
And when you're talking about teaching young men, that's something you tell them, go look in the mirror. Where do you see yourself?
And what do you need to change to get there?
And the thing is that, like, being honest, because that's what we got to live in reality. Where am I deficient? Right? What areas am I deficient in life? Like, I'm not happy with I ain't happy with how much money I'm making. I ain't happy with the car I drive. I don't care. It don't matter what it is. If you want a better car, hey, if that makes you get up and grind and go to work and take care of your business, I don't care. Figure it out.
Find your why.
Find a why.
Figure it out. And that's the thing for me. And I think that's the important thing because like when you talked about ultimate goals earlier, I don't have ultimate goals anymore.
But
I got rid of that phrase because it's like, what? Like there's a point where you just stop?
Well, that's my exact point. If that's why I always say I don't care about the ultimate because there has to always be the next.
There's got to be something else, man.
You don't never put a wooden ceiling. You always have a glass ceiling, so you could break that ceiling and keep moving forward.
That's the idea of knowing the next goal, because as soon as you hit it, you got to find another one, because that's what's going to force you to continue to grow, improve, and get better. That's what it comes down to.
And I use military a lot on a lot of situations because it is valuable. But
that's
like
your
that's
experience
like,
also.
That's one thing. Like I came in NCO. Okay, that's the first line. Now I want to be a staff sergeant. I want to be a sergeant for class. It was one of them things I want to keep moving forward. Before I got out, I was like, I'm not gonna stop here because I'm not content.
Right.
I don't want to be sitting right here. I want to be where this person, they done made it to sergeant major. I'm saying black men, there's sergeant major, black women, there's sergeant major. They the highest ranking as a non-commissioned officer, if people don't know what that is. They the highest ranking. So you like, okay, he's in charge. I see somebody that looks like me that's in charge. You know, and some of the women, and I know this is what inspires some of the black women, and they say, oh, I see a female, she's a sergeant major in the most dominant male society right now. She's in charge. So guess what? It's driving some of them, but that's what some people know how to use certain things to fuel them. You get what I'm saying? So we got to teach our young men, take certain things to use it as your fuel, to make you want to get better, make you want to reach certain goals, make you like, okay, this is one goal. Once I reach this, I got another one. Once I reach this goal, I got another one. We got to teach young men to use certain things as fuel, because everybody's life situation is different.
It combines what you're saying right now and what John said earlier. Compete with yourself.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Compete with yourself.
Compete, when I'm saying compete, I said like you should never get to the point where you just feel like you're done. Even the Bible talks about, like, I always tell people like, oh, we ain't got to do that, or we ain't got to do this, and we ain't got to do that. I said, how can you profess to believe something and then you don't believe that you have to do everything? Because the Bible talks about like pressing on towards perfection. Not that you're gonna be perfect. And as a man, like you have to, like, it's not just enough to just get by or doing okay, or I'm doing better than this person or doing better than that person. That's not who you're competing against. You're competing against, you should hold yourself to such a standard to where you just like, it becomes second nature just to try to outdo yourself. Not that you drive yourself crazy or like you know, it's about because you can only demand or you can only, I'll put it like this. As men, we want to be respected.
Yeah.
Facts, right? But if you want to be respected, right, as a man, you have to do the things that you yourself would want to see in someone that you respect. You can't say like, oh, all right, like, you know, I want to be respected for doing less than the standard of somebody else. Like I respect this person because of X, Y, and Z, but I want you to respect me for doing less than what he does. It don't work that way. If you want to be respected if you want to be respected, whatever your standard of, as far as respect goes, should exceed the minimum of what you would require for somebody else. It can't be lower than what you require for somebody else.
I agree. I strongly agree. Every man wants some type of respect. That's even in the household. You want some type of respect. So you got to do what you're supposed to do to earn that respect. You know, I look at it, marriages, relationships, on the job, wherever it is, you want to earn some type of respect. But you got to do what you're supposed to do to earn the respect. That's just like if you want to be the head of the household, you need to do what you need to do to get that respect. You know, if you want to be...
Yeah, you can't beg for it or cry about it.
Yeah.
And that's why we got too many men crying about this stuff to our sisters.
We got a lot of men want handouts.
You crying to sisters about why they don't respect you, brother.
Get the respect.
I ain't never said that in my life.
I can tell you, females is not going to look for a man that's not getting the respect and don't respect himself.
Man, at the end of
But
the
that's another story, though. You know, that's another.
listen, I also look at self-respect as
That's how you carry yourself.
a care tool, right? That's a sign of care, taking care of yourself. If you don't respect yourself enough to do the things that you're supposed to do, that means you're not taking care of yourself, which means, guess what? That black woman, she going to look at you and be like, what the hell I'm going to be with him for? Mm-hmm. He can't take care of himself. And guess what? That ain't about how much money you make. That ain't about what kind of car you drive. That's about accountability to yourself for the things that are most important to your livelihood and living your life the right way and growing and becoming better every day.
Yeah, like the thing is, man, like it drives me nuts when I hear brothers like talk stupid. It's stupid. Like, oh, like, you know, the females, you know, they doing this, or the black women, they do that, you know, they don't respect us. But like, what, you specifically, because you're complaining, this is about you, right, as a man. If your grievance is with black women because they don't respect you, what, because you can't be talking about other men. This is, if you're complaining, it's about you.
Damn right.
If you're complaining, what about you are attracting or not attracting the kind of woman that you're desiring?
Say that one more time.
Because, like, my thing, what about you is not attracting the kind of woman you're desiring? Because obviously, like, you're complaining about particular women not giving you the respect you deserve. What have you done, or what are you doing to gain that respect that you so much deserve? Showing up, just being there, being present, breathing, you know, wearing certain particular clothing, that's your requirement? Because women aren't stupid either. And like I said before, women ain't going to play these games as far as, like, they're not trying to struggle with you. It's okay to, it's all right to struggle, but if you plan on staying there, brother, she not going to sign up for that, bro. Like,
and if you're struggling because you're doing everything right, per se, that's one thing. But if you're struggling because you just struggling and you just too damn lazy to do right,
do what you're supposed to do,
nobody wants you, bro.
Nah, that's not gonna work.
Because you're not gonna want her if she doing the same thing. It's real simple. It's really, really simple.
The thing is that my thing is with a lot of brothers who complain. Like, I saw a post, man, and this brother basically, I wish I could read it verbatim. He said he doesn't like when black women say that they don't want to date a broke man. What if, once again,
does he want to date a broke woman?
Hey, right?
I mean,
but see, can I say, and broke don't mean you don't have money in the bank.
No, it
could mean a lot of different things now, being a broke man.
Well, that's why I used the term he used.
No, he used the term because he's talking about money. He's talking about.
I agree.
I agree with you saying.
Struggling with the females.
My point is,
but I'm
going to use his term. Does he really think what he's saying? Do he really think they want the same thing? If he don't want, if they're talking about they don't want a broke man, what he telling me? He want a broke woman? Hell no.
But the thing is,
it's the same concept.
I can tell you this: some women, they look at like, okay, he don't have this due to the fact he got blase. He got his ducks in order, but that's why he's not so financially stable. So, but I get what you're saying. He's looking at the dollar sign, because some women will look at it like, okay, he has this. He has a house, but he can't spend money. We can't go out do this because he has all these things. That's not a broke man.
That's not a broke man.
But he looking at it, he's a broke man because he probably got no money in his pocket.
Yeah,
he probably don't have he barely surviving in the place he's staying at. He probably don't even really have a car that's basically that might not be able to make it from point A to point B. So Why would a woman want
should
that?
not expect you. Like I said, women should not respect that. A woman can't. No woman in her right man, and no man who's raising a daughter would accept that for her daughter. That's facts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't even want to get into it right now. But these are the kind of things like men don't think about. It's like we as men want, you can't want all the benefits, right?
And weep for all the benefits and not
put no work in.
It's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work for you, brother.
That's why I say some of our black men, we have an issue. We want handouts. We want everybody to give something to us. We feel like, hand this to me. I don't want to work for it. I don't want to earn it.
Look past the standard.
I want to
look past the standard.
I want to do just a little, to get by.
To get a lot. Not to get by.
To get a lot. They want to do just a little to get a lot. So that's the problem. Black men, we got to get out there and do what you got to do. If it's out there, you sweating in the outside, do it.
Sweat equity, people. Sweat equity.
Yeah, it's so much to the point where it's like I'm listening and hearing all these different, and you know, on social media.
Got some ignorant black men out there. I'm sorry, I had to say it that way, but we do.
Yeah, I know you study social media.
And then the thing, I study human behavior, and the thing is, and you know, we don't. The females, you know, there's women who are just as equally as guilty because you know a lot of people in general do not live in reality. Let's just be completely honest. A lot of people,
they live on their Instagram feed.
They are not living in reality. They assume that the world is
theirs.
What other stupid people online have affirmed to them. And it's not the case. And they wonder why what they see online is not reality. And they look at people like me crazy because I tell them like, yeah, that may be what you see. Excuse me. What you see online, but reality actually is a completely different thing. And the way you're trying to maneuver in real life versus what you're trying to do on social media is not the same game. And I think for a lot of people, the first thing, like you said before, look at the mirror or whatever, look at yourself. Look at yourself first. Most of your problems, now I'm not going to say all, but most of your problems are a result of you, and you have to fix it. If you are assuming that somebody else is here to fix your problem or fix you,
bump your damn head.
You're gonna get your wig split. You're gonna get life is going to crush you, and that's just gonna be the reality of the situation. Like there will be no reality for you because life is gonna take you over, and that's the thing. Preventing life to take our people over is the biggest thing for me. It's like, stop living life
the fantasy
outside of in a fantasy outside of reality. You have to face reality. You have to face like when you go look at your bank account, if you see, like, look at it. Don't not look at it because you're afraid of what it looks like. Right? Don't look in your fridge. Look at just look at everything.
I got food.
You know what I'm saying? Look at your performance at your job.
Check my Instagram.
Hey.
Look at your performance at your job. Look at the kind of people you associate yourself with. Look at the kind of things that you're watching. Look at the kind of things that you're intaking, right? Reading or listening to. Look at that stuff because it's going to tell you everything you need to know. It's not,
I know the one thing I could tell this black man, when you working, if you got a job, everybody say, "Oh, I'm not gonna kiss up to the boss." No, do what you're supposed to do.
Do your job. You don't need to.
You don't have to kiss up to the boss because let me tell you, I can speak from the truth. I've been working at a bank. I'm not gonna say which bank, but I got top performer for the quarter. But a lot of people think I'm not doing work. But they don't realize I've been working. And then when I get a call from a head supervisor like, "Good job, well done. I see you doing what you're supposed to do." I don't go brag about it.
They don't need to know.
I don't talk about it. But somebody is always watching. somebody's always seeing what you're doing. That's why I always tell black men, be careful what you do. And be careful with all this stuff you put on social media because somebody is watching you.
And unfortunately, society says most of the time, when you do right, we ain't gonna say too much about it.
I don't brag. There's no need to brag.
But the minute your ass do wrong,
everybody gonna talk about it.
Everybody gonna talk about it, and it becomes your identity, really, particularly in business.
You could do one bad thing,
and it becomes your identity.
They look past every. You could do 20 good things and one bad thing, and guess what?
Stay focused.
Yeah, stay focused, young man. Stay focused.
Nah, dope, man. So yeah, man. So man, this was good. So appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all being on today with us, and appreciate our listeners. You know, appreciate y'all for sticking with us this long. You know, I don't even know what episode this is. I gotta go back and count. I think it's like 15 at this point. But
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But
listen, subscribe.
Hey, subscribe, likes.
All of them things, and share.
Yeah, share. I mean,
teams.
these are good conversations. I think people in our community have to have real conversations. I think a lot of times we just spend a lot of time talking about nonsense.
Let us know what you think. Give us some ideas or something that what you think about what we talking about. You know, you got a email you can put out there for them. At least something. We're
gonna have something.
Yeah,
we
put that out there.
But yeah, man, that's coming. So
because we
gotta look it up right quick.
Direct email. I don't need
yeah. We got something coming for that.
But yeah, leave us some information on the podcast. Let us know something.
Follow us on social media. For you to direct message. Feel free to contact via Facebook.
Yeah.
And
man, hit us up on Facebook or something. Let us know.
Slide into TaylorMade's DMs, not mine.
Well, it's Cavalier Convos on Facebook, so it is.
It's Cavalier Convos on Facebook, Cavalier Convos on IG.
Send a message or something, so at least we know what's going on.
Get on the book face. Get on the book face.
Yeah, man. So.
On Instagram or
we on every social media platform. So
hit us up.
Can I say something real quick, Jay?
Go ahead.
People, post some positive shit on your social media, please and thank you. I hate to curse at y'all, but post something positive.
Yeah, 2020.
On your social media,
we need that in 2020, man.
Stop retweeting foolishness and tomfoolery.
Post some of them plates y'all gonna eat when y'all get ready to go.
This guy
for Thanksgiving.
Yo, Chusky boy over here need an 8-piece. I'll let me.
Hey. I'm a country boy, so I'm doing some chitlins. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all looking like what the
That's
hell?
a black man's filet mignon.
I never had chitlins.
We never had no chitlins,
and I'm not having that.
Man,
I eat everything. I eat turkey.
Got them things clean.
Ham, all that.
I'll let me. I'm gonna come get a
candy
plate.
yams, mac and cheese, all collard greens.
Hey,
but the chitlins,
like you say, post something positive. Hey, that's. Food is positive.
Yeah, we out here on the reckless outtakes right now, but I love it. This is the Cavalier Convos outtakes of recklessness, because we're gonna all be about 400 pounds
man.
if we skip these workouts after all this food.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Hey, no doubt, take care.
Enjoy.